Welcome everybody to the 90s Kid YouTube channel. Today we're going to be playing Metroid. On my right, I have Chris.
Hello.
Chris will be on the sticks. Chris grew up a Metroid gamer.
It's the only game I was allowed to play.
And why is that?
I'm just making that up. But I mean, it's the only game I really allowed myself to play.
I thought it was because your parents, they didn't trust like Italian plumbers.
Well, there was something... man, we started...
There was an
Italian
affair
plumbers.
in the family.
Right. Well, we're Belgian. And, clearly that just makes sense.
Or maybe, what? Because your parents are, like, your dad's kind of scientific, right?
He's electrically minded, I'd say.
So I could see him...
He's part robot. Yeah, I think this is why.
He can relate.
Well, yeah. It was a cold childhood, and this game's very cold. And,
he didn't like to turn the heat on.
Actually, he still doesn't. Well, anyway, to the point. I played this game a lot as a kid. I liked anything that was like this level of Nintendo designed game.
What do you mean, like
I don't know,
mostly Nintendo?
There's a simplicity to it. It throws you in an environment that feels actually like you're not playing a game. It was something, and it could be just because it was so new. Like I played this game when it came out. Like my friend coming home buying it when the system came out.
Oh, really?
And
you're right in the ground floor.
Right.
And that's the point of the episode, is that Chris was on the ground floor. I'm way over in the future on a different type of building where I didn't grow up with Metroid, didn't really get it. So I want to see if it holds up for me as a game I've never really played. I played it a little bit. And for Chris, I kind of want to see like what your experience is like. When's the last time you played this?
I play it annually.
Oh, okay.
Like, for sure, I at least touch it for a bit, and for the most part, I'll play it. Sometimes do it proper and really challenge myself, and then other times I'll totally just load up every fucking walkthrough I find and just walk my way through it so I can feel it again. Because there's certain things.
You sound like a heroin addict chasing the dragon.
There's a lot of frustration, that can happen when you play certain parts of this game because there's no direction. There's in Super Metroid already
it's actually, that's starting to feel how this intro is. So speaking of no direction,
right?
Let's get into the game. Let's give the people what they wanted to see. Now let's maybe have a moment of silence for this badass intro, okay? All right, I think that's long enough.
I mean, that's good. This is. Should I press start? Because this goes in a beautiful place.
The song changes?
Oh, the song, yes, but
wow. Now, how many kids do you think would never? Oh, I guess you have the story. Defeat the Metroid of the planet Zebeth and destroy the mother brain, the mechanical life vein. Oh, it's a nice little rap.
Could you imagine though, if you're actually in your own ship arriving on a planet, that is what you would get. You would just get this simple easy to transfer throughout space text message telling you what to do, scaring the shit out of you. There's no talking heads or weird characters, no personification. That's what makes this game special to me. You really feel like someone arriving on this place.
The Galaxy Federal Police.
Right? Now, I think the music's about to go off on a tangent, so I'm happy to press start.
It goes even further than this?
Yeah. There's
really?
the next change. It's coming up, and we could count the beats, but I feel like the audience wouldn't care.
Well, I just want to hear this. I want to hear the C section.
So here we are. Even swings, and with the epic
it's like a polyrhythm.
Radiohead finish. The na 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 na. Sorry, I'll try not to sing along. By the way,
yeah, we'll try not to.
But it'll happen.
That bass drop,
right? And now we're back to square one. So
all right, let's do it.
So now we can just hit start, and you're immediately launched.
Okay. Oh, I didn't really notice the faces on the top left and the top right.
Yeah,
there's Oh, and they're on the ground too.
Yeah, what do you call those things?
I guess
gargoyles of sorts, but they're not prevalent throughout the whole game. And whenever they do appear, they seem to signify something of importance.
Okay.
You're in a good spot.
Now we're playing this with a PlayStation 4 controller, so you're gonna hear a lot of clicking and clacking.
Yes.
That's just
on the other hand, the good news is that my hands are being cut by crazy sharp corners, from the original NES controller.
I remember people saying that the N64 controller was slicing people down.
Well, it would hurt your thumb. The N64's middle I guess analog controller was just, it was vicious.
It was. It was still pretty revolutionary at the time. Like, it looks so archaic now, and when it came out, like a lot of stuff Nintendo does, people think like, what are you doing? What is this thing? Why does it have 3 handles? That really blew people away. But then you started playing.
There was times though where you really did grasp that middle one, you know, and then you would change the position of your controller. Do you know what I mean?
What, the N64 controller?
Certain games, yeah, you wouldn't be holding it edge to edge. You would definitely grab that tripod center.
Oh yeah, I'd say almost the majority of the time.
Right.
We'd be working that. Always thought it felt a little weird when you switched to
the wide one. I can't even think. I would think maybe only in like a Mario Kart situation, maybe.
I played a lot of the wrestling games, and you would always use the D-pad.
Right.
And the joystick was used just for taunts. But we found out. You know what I hate when people say "on accident."
When they say what?
When they say "on accident."
On accident, yeah.
Yeah, instead of by accident.
By accident is the worst. On accident, and when people say, close the light.
Close the light
instead of turn off the light.
How about people say, "Can you pick me from the airport"?
I didn't even know that. That's like tantamount to be like, let's go hang out at mine instead of my place.
Yours or mine.
Yours or mine. It's just like super asshole British.
How about when people say, irregardless?
Well, that's just not a word.
No, it's not.
Right? You know, regardless is all you need. If you need to ear, you can irrespective. That's fine, because that's still actually, you know, proper.
That's a nice one.
And everyone wins.
Now these guys that come out of the pipes, they're real.
They're a menace, but at the same time, they're like one of the best sources of.
Right. Because you kind of farm in this game, right?
Yeah. Oh, like, for sure. If you need shit, you hang out by these pointy faced motherfuckers, and there's. It's a consistent enemy style throughout the game. Like, that one type of animal, although you see it in various forms, it always does the same thing. It comes out of a pipe vertically and then shoots across horizontally. So, anyway, grabbing some missiles. I've got as far as I need to at this point. I'm going to walk my ass back.
What a pro.
Because, well, I'm hurting, though.
I like how they have the Mario sound. Yeah, that was the thing, is sometimes if you jump up and then you land... And because they stop like wherever you are, right? Those guys coming out of the pipes.
Everything in this, every enemy is vicious. Good thing about the one I just killed is he'll give me some good. He'll give me at least 20 points. The average like little food tablet or whatever the fuck those energy bars, they're like 5 points, but the bigger enemies will give you 20.
What I like about these guys that come down to the ground is that there's a bit of a risk and reward. Where if you don't shoot them in time, they explode, right?
Yeah.
So you went close enough to use your little snub nose laser. You kind of have to walk into that danger. I think that's a really good design decision.
Well, the first thing you do in this game is realize how shit your snub nose laser is, and the first thing I'm going to do, which is why I grabbed those missiles, is grab the long beam.
Okay, long beam's next on the docket.
That's where we're going.
Now I had tried playing Metroid. I think a couple months ago, you and me were going to do, I said, let's do a whole episode where I'll beat Metroid and then we'll talk about it. And I probably put like a couple days into it, but I ended up like watching a guy on YouTube and trying to like just follow him along. And it's a pretty daunting game to just jump into. And I think that's, like a lot of people say, that's the point. Like there's always that.
Right. I mean, my daunting first experience of this game was being 6 years old.
Oh my God.
And play, and at the same, and I couldn't finish it then. I had friends who could. They were just, I guess, smarter. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
were they 6 as well?
Yeah. They were the same age. But they own the system. I didn't own Metroid as a little kid.
But see, it has to be something you have at home that you're playing every day. And
I was borrowing. I actually saved up the money to buy Metroid. And there was like one store at the time, like near my parents' house, where you could actually buy Nintendo games. Like it wasn't like you could just go everywhere, or you know. And we went to this one in Pickering, which is because I grew up.
We're recording this in Toronto. Yeah, Pickering is a suburb of Toronto.
I grew up in Scarborough, and we went to this place, and I'd saved up the money to buy it. But when I got there, they were out of Metroid. But I was so like, no, I need a game.
What?
So I bought Kid Icarus.
Oh,
which is made by the same people, and it's a pretty badass game. Like
it's a badass game, but it's the most. I'm glad you ended up with something you like, because that's the most disappointing thing to ever happen. Oh my gosh!
For them to be out of a game and for you just to substitute what you buy just because you needed a game.
Yeah, I did that where I left the house one day and I I was a teenager and I hopped on the bus. I had saved up a bit of money. I just didn't put any like research or thought into it. I think I just assumed whatever mall I went to would have this game, and that I had enough money for it. I wanted Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. It's a puzzle game, and you fight, and it's got Street Fighter characters. Here we go. The unlocking the first door, the missiles. And I went to the mall and they didn't have it, and then I was just like,
okay, so I'm severely. I actually went to the wrong spot and I forgot, but this is cool because this is the gateway to the end of the game. So
Right.
like, in order for you to get past this part, like, there's no way if I go down there, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And you know, I need to beat both of these bosses, and those are the bosses.
oh, I see. So
it's
they're like a statue saying,
discovery point is pretty cool because this is like, oh wow, what are these monsters that I need? You know,
right.
they look scary, and this music, oh man. Anyway, so now I just need to get more missiles, and that's no problem because someone will deliver here.
Now that's a great. You know, I don't know if you've played Demon Souls or Dark Souls or Bloodborne or any of those ones.
I played Bloodborne with you.
Right, that's right. Yeah, we played it on Halloween. And he's that guy, Miyazaki. He's a real master of level design in a way that kind of reminds me of this, where like if that's the entrance to the final boss, and that's like pretty much where you start off in the game. Now he does the same thing where wherever you go, say you take a shortcut, he'll find a way to make that shortcut kind of like loop around, rather than just kind of hitting a dead end and having to backtrack.
Right.
And when you are about maybe 3/4 of the way through a level, he'll always include a shortcut back to the start of that level, because it's you have a hub and then you warp to these different spots. So he kind of makes it that because you have to backtrack a lot, he's always working on ways to, he's always including ways to kind of make backtracking a little easier. He's just like, it's like very well thought out, and I just think that that's so cool that in a game this old that they would think of something like that. This is probably the first game that had something like that, where here's where the boss is right away, and you have to go and try to find your way into it. I mean, really, what was before this game? Even when Mario first came out, just the idea of having those levels that tied together, those different 8 worlds, that felt like a grand adventure, like a story. Zelda really blew everything away.
100%.
But what, do you know which one came out first, the first Zelda or this? This was 1986?
I think Zelda came out before Metroid.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Metroid came out in 87, and that I could be wrong, gamers. You're all gonna murder me, but
yeah, I think it was 86.
and I think that Zelda was 86, and Mario was like 85 or something, right? Like when the Nintendo first came out. So, and then there was Gyromite. That was some fun. This is like a very fucking petrifying moment. I have almost no power and some serious beasts after me.
You got missiles.
But I don't want to lose the missiles. I need them to open the door.
Yes.
I'll be fine. As you notice, I did not get hurt.
Not even scratched. While maintaining a conversation.
Right. That was the hardest part.
Excellent job.
And well,
oh, don't waste it on that guy.
I realize. So now I've rectified my pain, because here's my long beam. And later in Super Metroid, what was dope is that these little weird like alien dudes that hold your weaponry sometimes come to life and kick the shit out of you.
In Super Metroid?
Yeah.
I played a bit of Super Metroid too. I thought it was pretty. The intro was pretty exhilarating.
I feel like I'm allowed to.
Because in that one, that has like the countdown timer, right, where you have to escape.
Yeah, basically they put you back into the end of this game, and they repeat something that you have to do, which is to climb up there before the place explodes. That happens at the end of this game, so it's almost like a repetition of the end of this game with a slight twist. It's not quite the same map.
Okay. So they change up the.
Oh yeah, they definitely. I mean, they made it cool. I mean, Super Metroid came out late in the game, I think, for Super NES.
Did it? 90.
Yeah, it was one of those ones because
94, 95?
Which is like, it's unbelievable to me that I didn't even really know that it existed.
Not even you.
Not even me. So I think I just quick saved my life.
Now we are playing this on an emulator. We have the copy, of course. We both have a copy of this game, of course.
Oh man.
But it's just easier to broadcast this stuff.
Yeah.
With an emulator. It's just a million times easier.
And I feel pretty good because I'm using these D-pads, which is like Super Nintendo. Not Super Nintendo, but Super as in very Nintendo.
Oh,
In my mind, it is anyway. So let me think here. I think I need to go this way.
Oh, I was gonna say how you were mentioning that this came out at the end of the life cycle. I always find that really interesting. Games that come out right near the end of consoles. Oh, pushing it, Chris. Games that come out right at the end of a cycle because, for one, developers have been developing for that console long enough that they've been able to really unlock the power of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Super Mario 3 compared to Super Mario 1,
oh my goodness.
I mean, they look like they're on different systems.
Yeah, they do.
And I mean, look at like Super Mario World compared to, you know, Donkey Kong Country.
Right.
You know, games that came out really late.
The
But
Donkey Kong Country is amazing.
oh yeah, it really is. I mean, it like really blew away with it. Kind of like really separated what they were doing from Genesis. I mean, Genesis tried with like Vectorman and Comic Zone, which were actually pretty games and stuff, but they just didn't really have the game design to hold up. But anyways, another great thing about that, other than just having the technology, is that sometimes they're really forgotten.
Right.
Like Zelda Majora's Mask. Ocarina of Time is such a watershed moment for people when Zelda stepped into 3D, and it was just a huge title for the N64. I mean, just about everybody owned an N64 played Mario and played that game if they played anything.
Right.
But Majora's Mask kind of snuck in. It had a very oh my god, what a close call.
It's important to get out of these. I find the heart monitor reassuring sometimes.
Still alive, slightly elevated.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like it's okay. Whoa. These always creep me out. They look like a little bit like angry lettuce.
Like your mom trying to force feed you vegetables?
Right, something like that. So this guy's...
Oh,
gonna
he's gonna... Oh, I love that they would come through the doors, too.
That's the scariest shit to happen in this game.
So far, in our case of does it hold up or not, I think it does.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of action. I'm able to dodge shit and do things that feel like... I'm still getting a lot of fun out of the controller. I don't feel like I'm... You know what it is? It's dynamic, too. It's like when you jump, there's different levels. I hate games where, like, you hit the jump button, and there's no, like, I can jump short, or I can jump higher if I want to, you know?
And then do the forward flip.
Or just jump and press forward.
Which becomes a really powerful
because you don't
attack.
always want to do that flip.
Right.
Right? The flip is good later, too, when you get, like, the various suit and you get the, oh shit, what's it called? The thing that kills people when you spin.
Yeah,
spin
the
jump. Spin attack. That's
when you finally get that. I actually have played a little bit more of this than I thought, actually, because I've gotten to the spin jump part. But I mean, with a walkthrough, it doesn't take long to get to that stuff.
Right.
But when you get that spin jump and you start going through all those guys that were giving you trouble before, that's the greatest feeling.
Oh my god. Definitely one of the
because you don't. Now it's just jump right at me, man.
So for anyone who's wondering where I'm going right now, I'm one of the most crucial and amazing things about this game is the fact that you can have this morph ball and roll. But that the morph ball has its own weaponry.
The bomb.
So I'm about to pick up the bomb.
A bomb.
Much better health now.
Oh, I like how
you know what? I gotta say, on an actual Nintendo controller,
yeah,
that might have been slightly harder to have like actually had that battle between me and the to get the oh no, you know what? I'm still sucking.
What, to get this guy?
Well, to get him, he's good. He takes a lot of shots with your normal shitty like.
Yeah.
Normal standard weaponry.
Oh, I see. You got your 5 missiles. Yeah, I mean, those little Nintendo controllers, they definitely were a real cut above anything before them.
I had a ColecoVision. I never knew what the number pad was for.
But it was there.
It was there.
Atari Jaguar brought that back. Remember when they had their 64-bit
that was a system I've never actually seen in person.
There was a computer store right where my mom would go grocery shopping, and they always had a Jaguar up when I was
really
that age. And I would play Alien vs Predator, and you know, it actually was kind of powerful. It just quickly got really blown away by like PlayStation and N64 because it had better titles, but it really felt like you were playing a computer. And they had a lot of very computer-centric titles, like they had a first-person shooter, Alien vs. Predator.
Oh, okay.
And I think you could control the different...
Wow, that must have come out late, because... Oh, no, they made
the Jaguar was
the
like...
game. It came out in the mid-90s, early 90s?
Oh, the movie? No, the movie came out 2000s. There was a series of books, though. So they had a universe.
Graphic novels or something.
No, actual novels. I used to read them. They were great. They were like really serious. They really took being the Predator very seriously. and they have their own language, obviously. But they took like the whole honor thing, and they made them into these like total badass, honorable samurai type race.
The aliens.
No, the Predator. The Predators.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
And they would, because they were the ones planting the aliens on different planets, because they would come back and they'd bring their young to fight. They're like very Klingon-esque.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I could see that. They just had no time for like Schwarzenegger and the humans. Are just like.
No, yeah, and then they just started hunting humans, I guess, when they were there, and then realized he was like the ultimate game.
But they only had one dude.
Oh, the one Predator that got sent down? Yeah. That was one still... I think that movie still really holds up, and there's some like really funny moments, like Get to the Chopper and the way Schwarzenegger delivers his lines, but I thought that was a really great movie, and it had kind of a nice horror feel to it, as well as that bit of campy 80s action.
For me, nothing beats RoboCop for like 80s, like just everything in that movie.
Yeah, and that was
so
very
over the top. The same with like Total Recall, which I believe is the same director, right? They're both they just go off on crazy tangents.
Colin Farrell, you mean?
Oh god, that shitty remake. Now I'm really hoping here that...
No, he directed the original, right?
No, he had nothing to do with the original.
No,
Colin Farrell?
He has nothing to do with almost anything good.
No, he's just
except for Phone Booth.
Wasn't...
What are these little guys?
Yeah, they're one of the
Look
most...
at the distortion going on when that guy hangs out in your life bar.
There's always those like those slowdowns too.
Yeah. Just like Mega Man was big on the slowdown.
It's like, we're overwhelmed.
Oh, you're one
missile short.
Now, I was reading some developer stuff about this, and they said they had so little memory to make this game that they're like, well, we want to include more weapons, but we don't want to use... We have no more memory rooms. So they said, well, let's just make one of them an ice gun, and we'll just change it to blue. That doesn't take more memory.
Right.
And then the effect of it, just making the enemy turn a different color and stopping, doesn't take any more animations or anything. So they didn't have to redraw. And it's genius at that.
Well, I mean, that like makes the whole game. The ice beam is like...
So they started planning the game around that, because how else were you going to ascend these levels without being able to freeze the floating...
Oh yeah, I mean, there's certain ways... There's certain ways... This is frustrating that I don't have enough missiles right now.
Where do you get missiles from?
From killing people. Right now,
Just randomly?
Right now, I don't have enough jump. Well, to get through there, but the nice glitch is there, right? So you have to wait till the...
Is that hard to time that?
I just know the timing innately. Yeah, it's built in.
Do you have any other games that you play yearly? Or like...
Well, yeah. Okay, well, for sure, like when it comes to NES, there's standards. Like Ninja Gaiden for sure is to me. And even and the funny thing is I never really owned Ninja Gaiden 2, and there's some upgrades within Ninja Gaiden 2, like when you jump on a wall, which you could cling to.
Yeah.
In Ninja Gaiden 1, in Ninja Gaiden 2, you can cling to and climb up it. Whereas in Ninja Gaiden 1, you can only climb up if there was a ladder like built into the surface, right? And Ninja Gaiden 2, nowhere near as good as Ninja Gaiden 1, in my opinion. There's just something. They always had the perfect ingredients, the early Nintendo games.
I think it's... Now it seems like it's almost the opposite, where usually the sequel ends up being a little bit better, because there's so much risk coming to making a video game, and the huge amount of... Like, 18 people made Final Fantasy VI.
Wow.
Called Final Fantasy 3 here. And that's a massive game, too. And then, the N64 era, PlayStation 1 era was like teams of 50, and then it went to 100 for the next generation, and then 150, and like 200, and now it's like upwards of 300 people are making a game, and they're making less money on them now, because games are actually quite cheap. Because do you remember how much you paid for Nintendo games, like 8-bit Nintendo games?
It's more. It's just as expensive it is now, and if you account for inflation, like holy fuck.
Man,
so I was paying like $80. I think I paid $80 for Kid Icarus, and as like a kid in grade 1, you imagine the amount of saving I had to do with whatever. I was helping my brother deliver newspapers, probably giving me like $1 a month. I don't know, and some birthdays in the mix. I think my brother and I actually pulled together to buy that game. So.
I think pooling together to get a game makes sense, because you only have so much time you can really spend with it, and you can also play it together too.
Oh man, yeah. Well, there's a few. The other one for Nintendo that I love that I don't play annually because you really need it on the. It was just such a tough fucking game. Is Iron Sword.
I don't even know that.
Iron Sword is I believe, the sequel to Wizards and Warriors.
Oh, okay.
And it's more involved. It's to me one of my favorite games. The cover art featured Fabio.
No way.
As the main character holding a sword. So it was like the first, like, probably potentially one of the earliest games to use a celebrity in their like marketing. You know, if you think about a Nintendo game and like how that felt, and like now how video games are like marketed with, like, you know, they use big names like that.
Anna Kendricks is in the Star Wars one,
right? Yeah, and like Clash of Clans has like that Kate Upton, I believe.
Oh my God! Right? They make her look so awful in that. It's like they've never seen a girl before.
Yeah,
well, that's hurting her brand. Every time I see those commercials, I'm like, man, they make her look like a bag of potatoes.
It's the fantasy genre. It's just the guys who like the typical shit. You know, that's who they go after. So I have acquired now the Ice Beam.
I think Kate Upton's pretty cool, and I like that they just went with a very like more regular looking person with more regular features. I mean, obviously she's like statuesque and has.
Well, she's you know, she's a girl next door thing. So just the point of thing is, like, there's two of these screens that are identical like this.
Right.
The previous one I got the Ice Beam.
Right.
If I go down here, it's like an abyss with only those guys to freeze and jump to get back
so
up.
If you went down
I would be
without the ice
stuck in
beam?
there. If I had no Ice Beam, it'd be over. I'd have to reset the game.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'd have to use a save point.
If that ever happened now, people would think the game's broken.
So like down there, I mean, that portion, that's it. Like going down there is, and I remember as a kid, because you weren't playing on an emulator, you couldn't just quick save.
No.
You would sit there and get out of that mess. And I don't know, it was just like, you know, you knew you had done something wrong, so you went with the punishment.
Yeah.
Kids these days, you know?
Well, they bank on the kids knowing that they can be punished in the game.
Right.
Your punishment and your timeout is that you have to like redo all this stuff.
Exactly.
But then you get to know the levels better, right?
100%.
Because you're, you know, having to redo it. But I mean, using the bombs to blow up that blue stuff is sort of an advanced technique. So I don't know if somebody would have went down there without an ice beam. It could happen. I mean, like
bombing, it becomes pretty regular in the game. You know?
And how would you ever know to bomb to blow that stuff up?
I mean,
just
I
experimentation.
Think, honestly, like when I was young and I was playing this game, I would like sit there and be bombing like wherever I was going, just like this, like get around by even just bouncing and seeing what happens. You know. Anyway,
it's a great strategy. You're down to 16 health. 8.
Well, that's okay.
It takes off 8 health. Wow.
Well, right now
it's like going up and down a street and how fast the numbers go.
We don't have the Varia suit, so we're very vulnerable.
Varia suit. Yeah. We're very vulnerable.
We're very vulnerable. Actually, right now it would be a good time to get some additional energy packs. So I'm at 8 health, as you say, but I also have a full energy tank, so I'm not.
Oh, I see. So you're like 108.
Yeah, we don't have any beeping going on because anything below 20 would have.
How did I not?
Would have set us off.
Notice that.
I would have been way more anxious.
Okay. Do you get anxious? What's the hardest part in this game? The final boss?
Oh my God! Yes, definitely. The final boss it's almost too painful. I find like I hate when you fight any boss in any game where it's like there's no way to be completely unscathed. In my mind, I mean, I'm sure there's some kid who's sat there and played this game with a metronome and like figured out the timing of how jumps are supposed to be executed, like a Mario speedrun and bouncing off every last thing. But playing the mother brain in this game, I have never not been almost completely killed every time I fight her. Like, it's just from every direction you are being like shot at with different types of things that you don't even understand. And it's like, and then you know, you're hovering above a pool of lava that you're almost always being knocked into, and you have to stand on something the size of like a thumbnail. So this is a nice little trick. To like, okay, we're gonna get you to follow me. Perfect. Oh, yeah, come on, jump.
Whoa. Oh, yes.
So otherwise I would have needed the high jump to do that, and I still think I would have required freezing him But that's a nice way to get that extra energy tank early in the game.
Wow.
So now I feel a bit more comfortable at 283. The thing about that is though, like, you know, generally I find when I was a kid, you'd fight your way to get to a boss, and by the time you reached him, you would be out of energy.
Right.
But then, you know, they always had one of those places. Almost, I think before both bosses, you encounter a room where there's one of those enemies that come up from the ground and then vertically and then shoot across horizontally.
Okay.
And then they continue on. And you just sit there.
Farming tank.
You sit there and farm, you know, 5 points at a time until you filled up all your energy tanks. I've spent, and then of course they build into the game where it's like they know you're trying to get it. So like 10 enemies in a row will like not give you any kind of power up. It's like a lot of time they just built all these sort of random things in this game.
That's when you know you're playing a great game, when those little details come in, when it's just like those tiny things you appreciate. And you get it, because we're trying to figure out the system, and when you're gaming the system, for them to kind of call you on it and make that happen. They do that in those Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne too, where because you farm health from guys.
Right.
Well, no, you farm resources that you spend on weapons and leveling up.
Right.
So, and you can keep going back to these areas, but they start dropping less and less. So the first time you go through, you're getting tons, but if you want to keep going back, it's not as good. It takes a lot from the game.
Same with Zelda. Like, if you notice, and you're walking through each castle. I call them castles. Maybe it's dungeons.
Which Zelda?
The original, the NES one.
Did you complete that one?
Oh, many times. I used to go to my friends. Friends would like invite me over to watch me clear it in like 2 hours when I was a little kid. I was like, "Come over, I'll just watch you play," and of course I agreed to it. I love Zelda. The weird thing is like there was no internet, so it was like not like I could just go look up the secrets. So I don't even remember. I must have had like a Nintendo Power, or there were some other books that, you know, I bought to let me know at least where all the places you could bomb. Like just like in this game, you know, you could bomb places. In Zelda, the bomb was one of and the candlestick, which produced fire, a flame, and later the wand would either like blow up rock, or the bombs would blow doors open through in dungeons, and out in the like normal outer world, you know, the candlestick would burn. What do you call it? Like bushes, and you would find. Oh, come on! I didn't even need to do that anyway. Let's forego this. So right now, everything that I've been doing is this game has the potential, I think, to like make you go into some of the harder worlds and then backtrack to get certain power-ups later in the game. But I am trying to do it without going further and getting all of the things I need.
Okay, this is like a completionist run.
Right.
Of Metroid.
Because like right now, where I'm going, there's 2 things in this area that have value to me, and one of them is an energy tank, and the other, and which I'll get first, and the other is the Varia suit, which when you're in Norfair, which is like the lava level leading to Ridley, you know, you fall in the lava a lot, and the Varia suit against enemies and lava and everything, it just protects you. However, conventional wisdom would suggest that you need the high jumping boot to get the Varia suit, which is buried deep in Norfair, which sucks to go into without the Varia suit. So anyway, that's my nerd talk for the minute. I got some missiles.
Well, we are playing Metroid.
We are playing Metroid.
I think it's okay to be nerdy about Metroid.
Yeah, it's always okay to be nerdy. All right.
It really is. I've always thought that that's the big difference between a nerd and a geek. Whereas a nerd is a bit like you're a regular person that can nerd out on a particular subject.
Right.
Like anyone can nerd out on something. Even the coolest guy in the world might be a super nerd about, you know, 1950s cars or motorcycles or
right. As long as you're not a spaz.
Guns. But then there's geeks. And the geeks are the ones who are like loud and proud about it and are you know, and they're just kind of in your face, and like someone might go into their electronics store and be like, excuse me, like, is this like the right adapter? I kind of want to like upload my download or something. They're like, well, actually.
Yeah, it's comic store dude from The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's the geek. Whereas a nerd, I think, knows how to like knows how to act around people that maybe don't know the names of all the Metroid areas,
right?
Or have never played, not even played Metroid once. You know, so I think that's really the main difference. I always felt like a nerd where I can, it's like, and that's kind of like being a superhero, where you might just be mild-mannered Clark Kent one day, but then you can put on your superhero outfit of knowing everything about Metroid or whatever you're into, like comic books.
Right. Yeah. It's more expert without being an asshole.
Yeah, that's it. Expert without the asshole.
Right.
So does the soundtrack ever? It changes for the different areas, right?
Different areas.
Because this has just been like pumping for a long time.
Right. Oh, 100%. So this is another fun little trick in the game. It's a tough one. This one actually, because you have to keep this area open, and you need that guy to go up that hole. It doesn't work unless he goes up that.
We can't just jump on the bottom one.
Oh shit. No. So basically, because once you're up there, if you have the high jump, right, then he might be stuck in there. Okay, good. You'll see why this is all worth it in a minute.
Can't you just jump and then land like that?
No, but the problem is that I need him up there.
Oh, I see.
And I think I need to leave and come back. I could go get the high boot, but then that's a whole bunch of travel there and back. Whereas if I get him to go up there,
right.
There we go.
Oh,
I pressed pause and I fucked everything up.
How come he doesn't want to go all the way up?
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember it being this tricky. And
Are you sure this wasn't a Kid Icarus secret?
No, I know for sure. Go.
This is like, remember when there's a screensaver for older computers and there'd be an object that would just sort of bounce around?
Right.
And you'd watch it just keep bouncing around and around and around, but you always wanted to like go into the perfect corner of the screen. Yeah. They did that on an episode of the American version of The Office, where they're watching one of Michael's speeches, watching it and like waiting for it, and it keeps getting really close, and they're reacting to that, but he thinks they're reacting to his speech.
Right.
And then he finishes, and it goes into the corner, and they all cheer, and he's like so happy. I like what he did. I mean, the British Office I think is better. It's like it's a classic show. It really set a tone for how sitcoms were changing and comedy was changing, and like Ricky Gervais just captured being around awkward people that are your boss, that you have to sort of smile and nod. Whereas Steve Carell took it, I mean, he's a comic genius, but he took it in a way different direction, where it was more, he was the star of the show rather than the kind of people around him. Right, he was more like, he was actually like, even though he's annoying, he was like still entertaining, even if he was your boss.
100%. So, did I shoot him too high?
Yeah.
I did! And the frustrating thing is, I think I could probably only shoot him once more before he blows up.
Oh, wow. You can only take so much.
Right, so this is the challenging way. Did I do it again? I did. I get a running
If
start.
he keeps on thawing, he'll blow up?
Well, I could shoot him again, and I think he'll blow up. There's maybe one or two more.
Well, just, do it right.
Oh, you gotta be kidding. Like, every time?
I don't even think you could do that if you tried.
I have a feeling like we're screwed. We'll see. He doesn't need to be that high, and that's the worst part. You can't even get close to that.
You're just trying to get up to there?
Yeah, but you can't reach it without this jump point. No! Oh my.
Why don't you wait till you sway closer over on that side, like right now?
Yeah, you
can jump and shoot horizontal, right?
Yeah, I can.
Like, just do that.
Perfect. So, sometimes you just need a voice of reason, or someone who's never played the game to, put
my uncle is really into construction. He's like a real manly dude. He rides a huge motorcycle, and he lives up on a mountain on a house that he built out of wood. And he has a tree right in the middle of his house that he built a staircase around. Like, he's just an insane builder and like a real manly man. Huge mustache, if I didn't already mention that. And he was building a deck for my grandmother, and it was rotting out, and he brought like the men of the family together to build it. And I was there also, but they didn't really
not being a man of the family.
Yeah, there it's like, oh, Matt's the musician nerd guy. So I was kind of like, hey, you need any help there, Uncle Jack? And they're like, you know, making me pick up some stuff. I still wanted to help out. And there was a problem.
You're on plaster dry duty.
Yeah.
You're watching the shit.
The equivalent of like giving a controller that's not plugged into a little kid. And
right.
Like, yeah, you're playing too.
We used to give her a controller too and play. It was torture.
But it looks like the Xbox symbol.
And I became pink.
Oh.
So from now I have the various. So
how long have we been playing? Like 40 minutes? And you're already this far?
I've gotten all the things that you can possibly get in the main world now, which is, you know, I have that suit. I have
ice beam, long beam.
I have the bombs. I have missiles. I found all. What do you call it?
So, anyways, back to my story.
Yeah.
I know you found some stuff in Metroid. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's this problem where they're trying to build something. They're trying to put some like wood down and have it join up, and it's just not working. Where they're building is a very awkward place. That was an awesome secret, though. Very well done, Chris. That was awesome. And I made a suggestion like, well, why don't you just do it like this? And not being a construction guy, you know, that to them it was like ludicrous. Like,
right.
Yeah, sure, Matt, we'll do that. And they kept trying to fix it, and like nothing else that he was trying was working. And then I noticed half an hour later he was like very silently doing what I'm like, oh, he's taking my advice, but he didn't say anything.
Right,
and I went over, I'm like, what are you doing there, Uncle Jack? He's just like, shut up. I don't know why it worked. It's a fluke. But sometimes the point is like, I've heard someone else say, another construction guy, he's like, you gotta have somebody at the job site that's lazy and smart, because they will find a way to do something that's just way faster.
Always.
Outside of the box.
Well, because there's the thing about lazy people is generally they don't have patience.
And they're creative.
Right? And they're creative because they want to do things with the least amount of effort as possible, which is fair. I mean, that's kind of what evolution is. I always like falling along the side, even if it means I'm getting hurt.
Why, you don't want to fall in the middle? Just because it's faster?
Well, I mean, I could sit there and pick up, I guess, you know, I could shoot all these guys on my way down. It's not like you're going to lose ammo. But I figure I can get to the next part of the level. I have enough energy packs to get me there.
Yeah. Because you don't...
So I'm okay. There's a lot of,
Hey, in Zelda, you don't level up in the original Zelda, right?
Level up.
You get hearts, right? But does anything else increase? It's not like an RPG where you get like level 32.
Oh no, yeah, you don't become any. It's more about like
just hearts.
What
right?
the thing that you have,
and
you have your energy tank. There's no hearts. It's a very
in the original Zelda.
Oh, Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda. It's just hearts. The only thing that would like ostensibly level you up are your swords.
Right. Okay,
So you have like the.
Do you like games where you level up?
The word sword. I mean, I like them in concept. I wish that it wasn't like such a celebrated moment. Like it was just like, it's just your things get harder and you get better weaponry or you build. But I always find it when it's with
you don't celebrate when it gets harder.
I just find when it's RPGs like well, you know.
Oh yeah, it's such a normal occurrence. I think conceptually it sounds stupid. If you were gonna say to someone like, yeah, I'm just gonna grind around and the first elevator sequence. Ding.
Actually, it probably makes... No, I can get the high jump. And a bunch of energy tanks. So I'm going to go into Norfair now, but I'm not going to, like, push through it. So that's why I'm not going to go...
Norfair does not sound very alien to me. It sounds like a place where you'd have a medieval fair.
Right.
Come to Norfair. Hear ye, hear ye.
Well,
no talk of Metroids here.
I mean, Zebes is the planet, but then the areas are strange because there's, like, Norfair...
Man, you've got like a sniper rifle on there. This is a nice change after all that like heroic, bustling music. This is feels like real underground chill out music.
Yeah, this level has possibly my favorite music in the game, but it doesn't. This is for me. I really love this song, but I definitely like the music that you hear on the way to Kraid, and I can't remember what the hell his world is called. I'm sure that if you reach into my pocket, you'll find that it's loaded on my cell phone. I did have the
not gonna reach in your pocket.
It's actually not in there. I just wanted you to reach in.
And not actually because of, I'm afraid to reach into your pocket or anything. I would trust getting something in your pocket, and I would trust you to get something out of my pocket. It's more that just we have a microphone set up, and I don't want to jostle around and bump it.
Right.
I don't like bad audio sounds. I'm very audioly sensitive. Like traffic, street noise, really annoys me. Random noises.
Right.
It's very disruptive. The worst is if I'm sitting and playing guitar, I'm listening to music, and sometimes I'll like listen to podcasts when I'm just playing guitar. And then if music comes on at the same time, or like two songs at once, it drives me crazy.
Two songs at once is not good. My least favorite thing is when you get into someone's car and they're playing a song that you can sort of hear.
Yeah.
Like, wait, like why do you have the radio at that volume? Like, what kind of volume is that?
Just listening to music, man. I love music.
You know,
at this volume.
To me, it's unacceptable. There's a few things if I go this way, but I think that my objective actually was to get the high jump, and then I'm gonna go to Kraid's world because he's an easier boss.
Oh, we're gonna get to see a boss?
Relatively soon. I have to get to him, but first,
how long do you think it would take you to get to the boss? I think maybe we'll call that the end of the first episode.
Okay, well let's go get the high jump, which I'm pretty sure I'm getting right now.
Whoa! Evil seahorses.
Yeah, those things are fucking insane.
But they only shoot one. Will he turn around and shoot at you?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when they really get you, and this is perfect because here's my high jump.
Those are big boots.
Yeah, I know they're bigger than like half your torso. But now, I mean, it's pretty exceptional. Yeah, I've got some really good jumping ability.
I think that big jump actually hindered you there and caused you to get hit.
These things are mental. The big jump works better when you don't do the roll jump with it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when you're trying to get out of the sand, they're pretty brutal.
But the nice thing is now that I have the Varia suit.
Yeah.
Right. Like my damage that I incur, like while falling into the lava or whatever the yellow version of lava is, which I think is just like really hot sand. Which oddly enough in Kid Icarus, the same texture that they use graphically is the healing spa. So like in this game, it's like you're falling in lava, but in Kid Icarus, it's like it helps you.
I had Kid Icarus as a kid.
Same company, I think, designed it. Like I think it's Nintendo.
Well, it's Nintendo, yeah, but maybe like the same team.
Same team, yeah. I think they used a lot of the same stuff.
It looks the same. I mean, of course they all sound the same,
right?
Because they're using that kind of hardware.
So,
but I found those games very like cold and lonely, and even Kid Icarus too, and actually a lot of Nintendo games. I'm kind of a wimp. I don't like feeling negative feelings when I'm playing video games unless it's like a beautifully sad moment or something. But like I was playing Dying Light. It came out. It's sort of an open world. You're a government agent just going rogue into this nation that has like a zombie outbreak and like warlords taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And you play these night missions and these like super powered zombies are chasing after you, like running for your life, and it's exhilarating, but they do such a good job in that game. It's a really great game. But I didn't like feeling like that.
So you get that feeling when you play this type of game.
Yeah, and that's what always turned me off when I tried to play Metroid, and Kid Icarus, was that I didn't like the feeling of it. It was like, oh, it's so dark and spooky.
That's what I like about them, and I go back to them because to me they're the ones that really feel like you're doing something outer worldly. Like you're not playing a game. There's not a whole bunch of in my mind, the way they've ruined Zelda is by adding in like these goofy characters who are talking to you while you're playing, as opposed to like, no, there was just like a wizard who said what he needed to say, and if you shot at him, he fucking shot fireballs at you. He was willing to give you advice and help you out, but if you ever did anything wrong. Whereas in the newer versions, it's like they turned it into some hokey Saturday morning cartoon that was like, I just don't care as much, because when the story is overtold, I don't feel like you're playing you're not the character anymore.
Sure, you're an observer.
You're observing, or you're controlling a robot.
Absolutely.
Right? Whereas in this or in like those other games, I felt like I was there. This drops me into an alien world. It's like, wow,
That's, I just played the Witcher 3. It was a big title that came out. at the beginning of 2015, made by a Polish team, and they'd made 2 of them before, obviously, because it's Witcher 3. But this was their first one on console. And actually, the reason the other versions didn't get a console release was that this Polish team ported it out to a French studio to develop the console port. Mm-hmm. And the Polish guy was talking about it. He's like, I went over to the French studio, and these guys were coming in at 10 o'clock, and they're leaving at 4, and they drank espresso half the day. Nothing got done, and this like millions of dollars got wasted.
Right.
Because these guys are in Poland. They're like not fighting anymore, but they're working their tails off 12 to 14 hours a day. Like the video game crunch that happens at the end of making a video game, the Polish people were fine with. Like this was their ticket out to be something bigger than what they had dealt with. Like a lot of oppression in Poland, obviously.
Right.
But what was I saying?
Well, you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Anyways, so Witcher 3 came out, and The Witcher is like uses a lot of this old European lore of like monsters and witches and stuff like that, and it's like action and a bit of magic. They do an incredible job of storytelling. The way the cinematics are told, the in-game cinematics. It's not like some games where they just kind of leave a camera on the head and let them talk. Right. And they just stand there awkwardly. It's like framed well, very very mature tonally. A lot of, like swearing and mature content. A lot of gray area to it I like. But the problem I have with it, and that reminded me of what you were saying, is that, I had the controller and I pressed buttons, but I didn't need to be there.
Right.
Because you'd sit down and they would, one scene, for example, this girl is trying to examine a dead body, and they give you 4 options. They're like head, stomach, arms, legs. And all you do is you click head, and she says, things happen to the head, this is why. And then you click arms. Ooh, claw marks on the arms. I guess And it's like, why do I have to even press these buttons?
Needless interaction.
I'm not putting that together, listening to it, and then solving a puzzle.
Yeah.
And the same thing would happen with conversations, where they give you these options, and I'm just going through them all. It's like, I don't need to be here. I don't need to be doing this. And I miss that, like, where Metroid would force you to... I say miss, I didn't even play Metroid when I was growing up. But I just miss games that make you explore. Like Fallout 4, I just grabbed. And one of the first sequences, you stumble across a gas station, and by perusing through the gas station leftover clues and discovering the story of the people that were there before this nuclear war... You take those clues, and then you find another secret that you didn't ever have to go to. Mm-hmm. And that's what Metroid is all about. Like, you finding that energy cell and all this extra stuff. Whoa, this is a totally different area.
This is my favorite song in the game. I actually, when we have a chance, I will play my remix.
We'll put that at the end of the episode. If you want.
I'm
Can we get the rights?
I don't know. Can we?
I was kidding. You made it. Well,
I made it by remixing this song that I turned into a dance beat, and it's a pretty cool one, I always thought. But this is to me, the best. Oh man, I'm gonna.
This is a great one.
I haven't died yet in the game, by the way.
How did you make a song in 3/4 dancey? It's a waltz.
Oh man, you can always turn a waltz into dance. You'll see. Wow, I'm hurting.
Look at these bumblebees.
This is a hard part.
Why do they live in fire?
I'm not in fire. I'm in like vomit. I'm pretty sure.
Why do they just float around in bile? They're like maggots, pussy maggots. Oh, I like this part.
Yeah.
With that low bass.
I know. The bass part's there. That's actually the one part of the song I didn't sample.
Really? Oh my gosh. I don't think I would have noticed that playing on a TV in 1986. I don't think it would have had.
I don't know. Well, I remember when my parents got the 32-inch screen TV when I was in grade 5 in 1992.
That's like a TV for a dorm room now.
Right. That's a TV for your fucking washroom at this point.
Yeah.
Ow. So if I go down here, I will. Oh no, I'm not where I thought I was. Maybe there's secrets up here. I don't, these guys always reminded me of Cookie Monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
You've never played Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
No, that's a later.
We'll do a version of that, and maybe I could play that or you could play that, because it's like, have you heard the term Metroidvania? the way they describe a lot of games is because Castlevania Symphony of the Night kind of took a lot of this and expanded on it. But it's Symphony of the Night came out on the PlayStation when 3D was in vogue. Everybody wanted everything to be 3D, and they made it 2D. Beautiful hand-drawn and animated sprites. Like they don't make sprites like that anymore. If they ever make the Castlevania games, they do it like a pseudo 2.5D because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to make a polygonal model that you can put in different situations rather than hand drawing all this stuff. But this Symphony of the Night game is like so gorgeous. The animation is so fluid and amazing, and the soundtrack is like a real cool hybrid of kind of like operatic epic rock. And it's the same thing. Like you have a big castle to explore, Super Metroid style, where there's a map and you explore different parts and you get different powers. And it's just an incredible game. We'll definitely do that one on here. It's like it's a popular game with a lot of people too.
Yeah, definitely heard it.
You have a PlayStation 1, don't you? Sitting around.
I have a PlayStation 1 and I have a PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 1 I have. Is this Chris's first death?
Yeah, you haven't died yet.
I refuse to die.
Look at you just staring at the face.
Ooh.
Oh, you forgot about the guy you froze.
Let's pause for a second then.
Well, we're going to say that this is the end of episode 1, a very fitting end to episode 1. Chris valiantly dying. Tune in for episode 2, where Chris will come back to life and we will fight the first boss. So thank you guys for listening to the 90s Kid YouTube channel. Chris and Matt playing the original Metroid. Stay tuned for other Let's Plays of new games like Fallout 4 and other old games like Castlevania Symphony of the Night.